Hey, good afternoon to you guys. How are you doing? How is your day going? Hope you are having a great time. All right, as we quickly run through these, we're live and it's time to have a quick chat as we always do. Thanks so much for joining. Kindly let us know where you're joining us from as you join. This promises to be a great time together. Okay, let me start with a question today. Have you ever looked at your life at any time? Have you ever looked at your life and you quietly wondered, how did I get here? Not in a dramatic way, not in a crisis prone way, just one of those quiet moments, one of those me moments. Maybe late at night, maybe when the lights are off, maybe when the kids have all gone to bed and you're alone in the city room with your thoughts. When everything is quiet and your mind starts reflecting, and suddenly you just realize something. You thought you would be further by now. You thought, oh, by this time I should have done XYZ. I should have gone further than where I am today. You should have been further financially. You thought you should have been further in your career. You should have been further in your discipline. You should have been further in your personal growth. And the strange thing is this: your life didn't collapse in one big moment. You didn't get pulled back to where you are in one big moment. There wasn't a single catastrophic decision that pulled you back. Your life simply moved slowly through what we call tiny decisions repeated every day. And here is a powerful part most people miss. If life can slowly decline that way, then life can also slowly improve that way. Not through one massive breakthrough. A lot of us are so focused on big breakthrough, big moment. Oh, Matt, I need a big moment. I need a big breakthrough. A lot of us are so focused on that, but we forget the tiny moments, the little moment that pulled us, that drifted us back. But the truth is, if those tiny moments can drift us back, tiny moments can still make us get to where we want to get to. Very small moment, becoming 1% better every day. That's the focus of this talk. Today, we're going to talk about that. Because if you truly understand this idea, it will quietly rebuild your confidence, it will rebuild your discipline, it will rebuild your future quietly. And the version of you of your life you have been waiting for can be built by these tiny moments. So if you ever feel stuck, if you ever feel behind, if you ever feel tired, or you feel like you wasted your time, hang on today. Stay with me a little bit because what we're going to talk about will might completely change how you approach your life starting from tomorrow. Hello, Tony Bennett. How you doing? Thanks for joining. Thank you guys for joining. Thank you guys. Welcome, welcome, welcome. So today is not a motivational cliche. No, we're not doing that tonight. Today is a human day. We're going to talk human. This is one of those conversations where I want you to breathe. I want you to unclench your shoulders. I want you to stop judging yourself for a minute. I'm fine, thank you, Tony. I'm fine. How you doing? See, because most of you, or many of you, you're carrying regret like a backpack you never let off. You're carrying pressure. You're carrying the feeling of I should be further. And I want to say something up front here before we get deep in this talk. You don't need to change your whole life today. No. If somebody tells you that, that's an illusion, that you can change your whole life today, you just need to change your direction. That is it. What you need to change today is just your direction, not your whole life. And direction changes through small daily decisions. Your change in direction comes from small daily decisions. That is why this message is called the version of you that is 1% better every day. The version of you that is 1% better every day. If we can focus on that 1% every day, before the year runs out, you'll be where you want to be. Now I want you to imagine something, friends. If your life improved just a little every day, not a lot, not dramatic, just slightly, what will your life look like in a year? Think about it. If every day your life improves just a little, not not too much, in a year, what will your life look like? That's what we're building today. That's what we're talking about today. Focusing on that 1%. So what I started looking at is, why is it that this 1% feels too small? Why is it that this 1% feels too small? But this 1% is everything, but why is it that it feels too small? Let's talk about why people ignore the 1%. A lot of people ignore this 1% because 1% doesn't feel like any change, 1% feels like nothing. 1% feels like, why bother, Matt? Why do this? Why bother? But life is not changed by intensity. No, life is changed by consistency. We've talked about that so much on this channel. Life is changed by consistency. Most people don't fail because they're incapable. They fail because they keep trying to leap instead of building. Instead of building one block at a time, laying one block on top of the other, they want to jump, they want to leap. That's why they fail. Think about it. People want to lose 30 pounds in 30 days. They want to be rich by next month. They want confidence overnight. But the truth of the matter is, your life is built like a house. You don't just throw the roof on the ground and call it a home. No. You build one brick at a time. One brick is 1%. One decision is 1%. One correction is 1%. And 1 year from now, those bricks become a new life. That is how the change is made. That's how the change occurs. Let me pause here for a moment because I want to ask you something honestly. Think about the version of yourself from 5 years ago. Think about yourself from 5 years ago. 5 years ago, you had plans, you had dreams. You thought, by now, I'll be further. But life happened. Responsibilities happened. Bills happened. Family happened. And suddenly, 5 years passed. Like you just blink your eyes and 5 years was gone. But now listen carefully, friends. That's not failure. That is what is called life. But here's the question for today. What is one small habit, one tiny decision that if you started today will take the version of your 5 years for it will make you, or it will make the version of you 5 years from now proud of you? Not perfect. We always say that on this channel. We are not chasing perfection. So you don't hear Mark talking about perfect. But we're talking about a new version of you that you'll be proud of. Just 1% better. 1%. If something comes to mind, I want you to think about that. I want you to think about that. Let me give you something real here. Something real. Something you can handle. I knew a guy. A very good guy. A hard worker. But every day he complained. He's always like, hey, Matt, I'm always tired. I don't know what's wrong. But every night he stayed up until 1:30 a.m., 2:30 a.m., scrolling through the internet, watching random stuff, living on his phone. Then he'll wake up exhausted. He rushes in the morning to go take his bath. He drinks coffee on the way out to work. He drags through the day. And he believed life was the problem. He believed life was the problem. But the truth was simple. One small habit repeated daily has become his problem. Now imagine if he simply went to bed 20 minutes earlier. Not a big change, not dramatic. But do this for 30 days, do this for 60 days, and his energy changes. Do that for 6 months, and his clarity will change. Do that for a year, his whole life starts to feel different. That's 1%. That, friends, is 1%. And most people miss their breakthrough because they keep looking for something big. They keep looking for something dramatic. They forget the simple 1% that lays around them that will compound and become something big. Their focus is on what is big. But the solution most of the time is something small, something around you. See, in this day and age that we're living, we've been sold a lie about transformation from the internet. The internet sells overnight transformation. You see things like 30 days glow up. You see things like get rich quick. You see things like lose weight fast. You see things like do this and stay wealthy for the rest of your life. But real transformation is usually quiet. It is private. It is small. It is boring. And that's why most people don't do it. Because boring doesn't get applause, but boring gets results. I talked about boring in one of my videos on my channel. Please, if you have not seen it, go check that out. Why boring works. Boring doesn't get applause, but boring gets results. A short walk, a 10, 20 minutes walk after dinner, 5 pages of reading, or if you can do 5, you do 2. If you can't do 2, you do 1 page a day. 1 healthy meal a day. $1 saved a day. 1 hard conversation handled with maturity. That's the real game. That is the real game. I remember hearing a father say something powerful some time back. He said, when my daughter was born, I didn't try to become the perfect father. He said, I decided to become 1% better every day. 1% better every day. He asked himself, did I listen more today? Did I show patience today? Did I guide instead of shout today? Did I show love even when I was tired today? And over time, that child grew up in a home with stability. Not because our father was perfect, but because he was improving. He was focused on that 1% that would make him better. Some of you don't need perfection. You hear me say that. If you're used to my channel, you hear me say that most of the time. A lot of you don't need perfection. What you need is progress. You don't need perfection, you need progress. And progress might be very, very minute. Maybe the 1 percentile. Now let's talk about the real enemy. I call this the real enemy. The real enemy is not your lack of information. The real enemy is that You keep waiting to feel like doing it. You let emotion sit on the driver's seat. You keep waiting for motivation. But motivation is like weather. It's like the weather out there. Some days it shows up, some days it doesn't. If you build your life on motivation, your life will be unstable. But if you build your life on small daily commitments, your life becomes unshakable. Your life becomes unshakable when built on small daily commitments. If you build your life on on emotions, it will definitely be unstable. Let's get a little bit practical here. 1% better could look like this. 1% better. That's what we're talking about. It could look like this. Drinking water before coffee. That could be 1% better. Walking 10 minutes every day or 20 minutes every day. That could be 1% better. Reading 5 pages or reading 2 pages per day of a book. That could be 1% better. Turning your phone off for 30 minutes. Hello, Rose King. Thanks for joining. Saving $1 or saving $5 a day. That could be 1% better. Texting an apology. Texting to somebody, apologizing for something that happened. That could be 1% better. Cooking one meal at home instead of living on junks. That could be 1% better. Praying before reacting. Praying before reacting. That could be 1% better for you. Writing one paragraph could be 1% better. Cleaning one corner of your house could be 1% better. Having one hard conversation respectfully could be 1% better. See, this is not glamorous. There is nothing big about this. There's nothing dramatic about this, but this is powerful because consistency is power. Consistency is power. Let me tell you something I've observed. Most people are not lazy. A lot of people are not lazy. Most people are simply exhausted. A lot of people are not lazy. They are just simply exhausted. They are mentally exhausted. They are emotionally exhausted. They are tired of carrying everyone. And sometimes self-improvement talk makes people feel worse because they think, I'm already trying. Matt, I'm trying. What are you saying? But hear me clearly, my friend. Your life doesn't need a dramatic overhaul. Sometimes it just needs one gentle correction, one small improvement. Now, if your life improved by 1% every day for the next year, how different will your mind be? How different will your health be? Just 1% improvement every day. How different will your money be? How different will your relationships be? Let me give you a very famous example. There was a time the British cycling team was average. They were not terrible, but they were not dominant. And a coach came in with one philosophy: improve everything by 1%. Improve everything by 1%. Not one big change, just 1%. Everything slightly better than before. They improved the seats by 1%. They improved the tires by 1%. They improved the training routines, the recovery routines, the sleeping habits, the nutrition, tiny upgrades. And within a few years, they became one of the most dominant teams in the world. Why? Because small improvements compounds. Listen, friends, your life is a compounding machine. Whether you like it or not, whether you believe it or not, your life is a compounding machine. You are compounding either progress or you're compounding regret. There is no neutral ground. There is no I don't believe it. There is no I don't care. Or you don't care, you're compounding regret because you're going to see it tomorrow. You care and you're doing something about it. You're compounding progress. You're gonna see it tomorrow. Your life is a compounding machine. I want you to remember that. Let's talk about the scary side a little bit. Most people don't notice their decline. They don't, because it's small, it's subtle, it is 1%. Someone is skipping classes. It doesn't make any change. You're skipping learning. You're skipping movement. You're ignoring relationships. It doesn't make any visible change because it is 1%. Avoiding hard conversation, not managing your monies well, eating to numb stress. And one day you wake up and say, how did I get here? I know how you got there. You got there by avoiding the 1% or by neglecting the 1%. It wasn't one big fall. It was small, small decisions. So today, as always on this channel, it is not about condemnation. It is not about condemnation. Today is awareness. Because awareness gives you the power to change direction. Let me make it real. Let me make it real. Some of you are not stuck. You are quietly disconnected even at home. Not because you don't love your partner, but because you stop doing the small things. You stop checking in. You stop listening. You stop speaking gently. You started reacting instead of understanding. And the relationship didn't break in one fight. No, it declined slowly. It went downhill slowly. Now imagine if you're 1% better in your marriage every day. One genuine question each day. How are you doing? One apology without excuses. One moment of affection. One moment of presence. Keep down the phone. That may sound small, but in 90 days, the atmosphere in your marriage will change. In a year, the relationship is not going to be the same. That's the power of 1%. Right now, take a breath wherever you are. Some of you are feeling this deeply because it's not just a concept. It is your life. It is your life. Now, I want you to do something very important. I want you to pick one area for 1% better. Is it going to be in your health? Is it going to be in your money? Is it going to be in your mindset? Is it going to be in your relationships, in your discipline, in your faith, or in your career? Pick one. Pick one. Focus on it. 1% improvement every day. Just 1%. Don't do much. Don't do much. You'll be shocked at the end of the year at the result you get in that area. Just pick one area and focus on it. Just do the 1% on that area. Improvement, not decline. Improvement. Because the same way there's 1% improvement, there's also 1% decline. I'm talking about the improvement now. Just do that. You'll be shocked at the results after 1 year. See, I want to talk to the person who feels, Matt, it's too late. I get this every time. When we have this kind of talks, most of the time after the end of the call, somebody sends me a message and says, Matt, I enjoyed that, but I'm too old for that. I wish I met you 5 years ago. I wish I heard these words 5 years ago. Now it's too late. I want to talk to that person in this call, or that will watch this later. Because, see, I hear it every time. I hear things like, I'm older now. Matt, I missed my window. I should have started years ago. Listen, friend. Regret is loud. Okay, regret is very loud, but it's not the truth. I know someone who restarted in their 50s. They didn't do anything dramatic. No. They decided to learn one new thing every day, one article, one lesson, one small skill. 5 years later, their confidence was different. And it was in his 50s. The opportunities were different. Their identity was different. Not because of a miracle, because of the 1%. Because of the 1%. So if you're thinking, I'm too late, I need you to hear this. You're not too late. You are not too late. You are just early in a new direction. It might be the right time for you to pivot and start building your 1 percentile in a new direction. Is it in your health? Is it in your career? Is it in your faith? Is it in your family? You can try to build 1% every day for the next 1 year, and you'll be shocked at the results. You'll be shocked at the results. If you keep to it, you'll be shocked at the result. Thank you so much for the gift. Thank you. I appreciate that. Let's go a little bit deeper here. The goal is not just outcomes, The goal is not just outcomes. The goal is identity. Because what you repeatedly do, you eventually become. What you repeatedly do, you eventually become. I always say you don't rise to your goals. Don't let anybody deceive you. Goal setting is great. I set goals. Goals are great. But you don't rise to your goals. You fall to your habits. You fall to your habits. So instead of you to focus on goals, why not focus on the habits? Because if you change the habits, your goals will meet your habits. Then you don't need to do so much. You'll be shocked at the results. You'll be shocked at the results. The 1%. The 1%. So the question is not, how do I change my life fast? If you've been sold that lie by the internet, change your life in 30 days, make money in 1 week. If you've been sold that lie, that is an illusion. The question is not, how do I change my life fast? The question is, who am I becoming daily? Who am I becoming daily? Not living in the world of illusion, in the world of the internet where you are shown how to make money in 10 days, how to make 1 million in 2 hours. Whoa, that is great. That's good and fine, but that is an illusion. It is not about how do I change my life fast, Matt? No. The question is, who am I becoming on a daily basis? That is the change that's going to stand the test of time. That is the change that will not be swept under your foot. Who am I becoming daily? And that's why the 1% is powerful. That's why I'm talking about the 1% this afternoon. The 1% is powerful. Because the 1% creates a new identity slowly. It's not a big bang. No. It changes your identity slowly. You become a reader if you focus on reading just 1 page in a day. In a month, you'll be shocked how many books you've read. In a year, you'll just be shocked. You become a reader. You become a disciplined person. If you decide to work on your discipline, 1 percentile in a day, you become a calmer parent and a better parent. Oh, I'm working on that a lot in my life. I'm working on how to understand my kids more now that they are becoming teenagers. They're no longer children anymore. You can't order them around anymore. Now I'm trying to understand them more and help them become a better youth. How do I do that? I improve on the 1% of being a better parent. So do I have to listen more? I don't have to shout more. I have to kind of think from their angle more. I kind of see how to become a better parent. I'm building the 1% in that area of my own life. Or you want to be a better communicator. You want to tell a story so well that it feels like butter. You need to work on the 1 percentile in that area of your life. There is no 10 skills to be a better communicator overnight. It's not there. If you bought that, that is a lie. You might jump into it and you'll not be able to sustain it. But if you build it 1% at a time, it's going to stick. It's going to stick. It's going to remain. You want to become a saver? Some people say, oh, how do I save more money? Start by saving $1. Start by saving 2. Start by saving 5. Start by saving 10, 20. Make it an habit. Before you know it, if every day you decide to say this $1 goes into this purse or this $2 go into this purse, in a month you'll be shocked. In a year you become a saver because it's gonna come natural to you. You want to become a person of integrity? Start by living in that light. And once your identity changes, the results will follow. The first thing is identity. I did a video on the frameworks of life. Please, if you've not seen that, go watch it. It will change your mind. It was a series, and the first video on that series is Be, Do, Have. The Be, Do, Have framework. You become first. Okay? Before you start thinking of having. There's always the becoming part. But we turned it upside down. Let's talk a little bit about money here. Because people are searching this content constantly. People are looking at the internet. How do I make more money? How do I make extra money? You're hearing things like, why am I always broke? Why can't I save? Why is life so expensive? And I want to be gentle but honest about this. Many people don't have a money problem. They have a pattern problem. Pattern. They spend to suit emotions. They avoid budgeting because it feels like judgment. So here's a 1% better money for you. Track your spend for 7 days without shame. Track your spend for 7 days. Let's say if you spend a lot, try to save $5 in a day. Try to save $5 in a day. How do you save? From your spend. If you eat out the 3 meals, try to cook 1 meal at home. Try to look at your subscription list and cancel one. That's a blocker. Block one hole. That's a leak. Block one hole. Pay one bill on time. One bill paid on time. Don't wait till the end of the month when everything gets choked. Ask one question. Do I really need this? That is the 1% money-wise now. Do I really need this? Is everything on sale tied to math? That's not punishment. But it will look like punishment to you if you're already used to spending. But this is how you get out of that trap. That trap of overspending. Budgeting initially becomes like a challenge to you. But yes, once you keep on doing it, it comes so simple. It is not punishment, my friends. That's power. Because peace is built now. Once you're doing that, your peace is built. Peace is not wished for. See, people doing wishful thinking for peace. Peace is not wish. You have to work on the peace. Health is another area. It's not another major search. You hear people searching for, how do I lose weight? How do I stay consistent? How do I stop craving junk food? Listen, friends, your body changes through daily decisions, not dramatic punishment. Start with the 1%. Start with one walk after dinner. 10 minutes, 20 minutes around your neighborhood. Start with one healthier breakfast or one healthier dinner. Drop out, remove one less sugary drink. Reduce it, one pop. Take out one, just one from your life. Go to bed, let's say 10 minutes earlier or 20 minutes earlier. And I need you to hear me here. You don't hate yourself into transformation. You love yourself into discipline. So if you hear somebody say, oh, buy this, it will make you stop eating, buy that, all those they are selling, they are just selling stuff. Start with the 1%. Start with the 1%. What about parenting? Oh, I'm a parent and I love this. Your children do not need perfection. They need presence. 1% better, As a parent, what do I need to do to be better? So personally, what I'm doing, since my kids are they are growing now into teenagers, and the rules of the game is changing in my home, I'm trying to be 1% better. Now I understand that the way I handled them when they were kids, when they were babies, is no longer working. So I start doing the 1% better every day. Do I have to listen more? Do I have to reduce my voice? Do I have to not shout at the top of my voice? Do I have to go with them to their games? Do I have to ask them how was school today and be patient for them to respond? Being a parent, a better parent, but 1% in a day. I can't change everything overnight. Because I know when they grow into adulthood, when they grow into the point of being a youth, into going to I'm still going to do this. I'm still going to change how I communicate with them, how I relate with them. So it's not going to be one big bang. No, 1% better. Do you give them 10 minutes of undistracted attention? This time, do you come to them in their room when they're about to sleep and say, let's have a bedtime conversation? How was your day? Do you apologize when you mess up as the parent? I never did that. I never did that, but now I'm learning. This is mad. I'm telling you the fact. I never did that. But now I'm learning to say I'm sorry. Yeah, it's heavy in my mouth sometimes. Like, how do I say I'm sorry? But I gotta say it. And when I say it, it makes me feel better. It makes me feel lighter. Because I see on my kids' face, they feel happier. They feel like Dad is listening. For me, that's my 1% I'm working on. That's my 1% I'm working on. One moment when you choose calm over control. And it might not feel like success. Like being parents, it doesn't feel like success. It's like you're giving your power to your kids. But years from now, it becomes inner security. That's what I've read. That's what I've seen from successful parents. Being 1% better. I want you to imagine something at this point. If you know this channel, if you're used to this channel, you know Matt works on a lot of picture drawing imaginations. Imagine it is 10 years from now. So this is 2026. This March 4th, 2026. Imagine this is March 4th, 2036. 10 years. You wake up in the morning, you look at your life, and the question is, did I become the person I was capable of becoming? Did I become the person I was capable of becoming? Not perfect, no, but aligned. Now imagine two futures, okay? Two futures. In the first future, nothing changes. Comfort stays in control. Patterns stays the same. But in the second future, you chose small improvement, small 1% improvement. You became 1% better. And do you know what? It compounds into stability. It compounds into confidence. It compounds into peace. That is the power of the 1%. Hey, Palmer. Ken Palmer, how are you doing? Thanks for joining. That is the power of the 1%. Which future will you choose? The one that nothing changed, the one that comfort remained in control, or the one that had 1% changes that compounded over time. Think about it 10 years from now. Now, let's be real. On this channel, we like to be very real, right? So please, if you've not hit the subscribe button, kindly hit the subscribe button so that you hear more from what we say every day. Let's be real. Some of you are thinking, Matt, I start, then I stop. So let me give you what I call the reset plan when you mess up, because we all do. We all mess up. And like I always say on my channel, Matt doesn't know everything. No one person knows everything. We're all learning. We're all learning. There's no magic wand anywhere to solve every problem. No. Because problems are like our faces. They are individual, they're different. So there's no one way to solve it, but there are some things that you could do that will help you. One thing I know is that we all mess up. We all mess up at different times. So when I mess up, what do? I don't spiral. I don't keep myself in that mood of, oh, I've messed up. No, I don't spiral. And I don't label myself. So don't spiral. When you mess up, don't label yourself. That is a mess. You are not the mess. That is just a mess. But you are not the mess. Don't quit because of that. Don't quit. No, don't quit. If I tell you the number of times I've messed up in so many areas, you will laugh. But I don't quit. I do this instead. Number one, I admit that this was a mess up without drama. I admit it was a mess up. Number two, I reset the next meal, the next hour, the next day. I reset. I get into a new mode. That was yesterday. That was 5 minutes ago. That's done. This is me now. So I reset. Number three, I reduce the goal until it becomes doable. That is very important. A lot of us think too much in the big bang. We think too much in the very big things. We want to get the whole thing done at the same time. Friends, there are things you can't handle. It's going to become overwhelming. So what's the best way to do it? Reduce that into small, manageable chunks. Why is that important? If you're able to reduce it and you get results, it will improve your momentum. It will improve self-belief, self-worth. Reduce the goal until it's doable. Then return to 1%. See, you don't need a perfect week. You need a perfect returning spirit. Because consistency is not never failing. Consistency is the ability to always return when you fail. So yes, here's what we're going to do. Okay? I call this a 7-day reset. This is not to prove anything, all right? This is just to build trust with yourself again. So day one, choose one area. Choose your one area in your life where you want to improve 1% in a day. Is it in your finance? Is it in your family as a parent? Is it in your relationship with your spouse? Is it in your job? Is it in your education? Choose that one area. Is it in your health? Where you want to increase. You want to improve 1% in a day. Not much, nothing radical, nothing dramatic. 1%. Number two, remove one small bad habit in that area. Is it in your money life? Do you spend too much? Remove one small bad habit. Number three, add one small good habit. I've taught this before, that when you remove a bad habit, make sure you inject a good habit to fill out that spot. Add one small good habit. Instead of you spending every day, if your case is that of money, instead of you spending every day, you eat out 3 times in a day. Okay, eat twice and cook once at home. Make one meal at home and eat twice. The money you've saved from that meal, from eating out, save it. Number 4, clean out one thing you've been avoiding. Is it a conversation? Have that conversation. Have that conversation. Number 5, make one honest approach in terms of This is also in terms of conversation. But for me, this is more like a spouse. Number 6, learn one thing and write it down. This is very important. I talked about the game changed in one of my videos. Please go look for it. The game changed. A lot of people are still trying to hold on to yesterday's rules to play today's game. Learn one new thing and write it down. Number 7 now, reflect. Reflect. What changed in me? In all these things I've done, what changed? Friends, if you do that, you'll feel something powerful. You'll feel momentum. And like I always say, this channel is not about perfection. No, this channel is about movement, not perfection. You feel momentum. That's all that matters. What momentum does for you is that it gives you self-belief again. If you can, grab a piece of paper and write things down. A very good one would be, what is my 1% today? Write it down. What is my 1% today? What is the habit that is stealing my future? Write it down. Write it down. What will my life look like if I keep doing what I'm doing? Write it down. Let me close with this image. There was a man planting a tree. Someone asked him, why are you planting a tree that will take decades to grow? Do you know his response? He said, because someday someone will enjoy its shade. Your daily improvements are seeds. You might not see the results tomorrow, but one day your life will be full of the shade of the seeds you planted. Let me leave you with that. See, you don't need to transform your entire life today. You don't need perfect discipline. No. You don't need a miracle to start. You need one decision. And the decision is, what is one thing I can do today that will make me 1% better? One action, one improvement, only one correction. Because if you do that consistently, the version of you 1 year from now will be stronger, will be wiser, will be more stable, will be more disciplined, more at peace. So today, friends, start small. Because the greatest improvement in life is not sudden, it is compounded. Thank you so much, friends, for your time. If this message spoke to you, kindly like this live, subscribe to our channel, and kindly share with someone, because they are not behind. They are building, and we are all building. Thank you so much, family. Talk to you again later in the evening. Peace out.